Hello and welcome to another episode of Spotlight Sessions. My name is Ilan Fisher. I'm the host and I also head up our non-profit partnerships at accessiBe's. Today I'll be having a really awesome conversation with Maria Camila Samboni. She is part of the Easterseals workforce in South Florida. How's it going, Maria?
Great. Thank you, Elon, for having me today. As Elon said, my name is Maria Camila Samboni. I am 23 years old, born in Cali, Colombia, and I am an advocate for the disability community. I graduated from Miami-Dade Honors College in 2019 and later transferred to the University of Michigan, where I obtained my bachelor's degree in psychology. And while I was in college, I utilized platforms such as Phi Beta Kappa, Phi Beta Lambda, and the Undergraduate Psychology Society to inform others of my experience living with a younger brother on the spectrum and also working with adults with developmental disabilities at the WOW Center. Now, after graduating from U of M, I returned to Miami and I'm working with Easterseals South Florida.
I love that, and I'd love to hear more about growing up with a brother who has a disability. How was that for you, and how did that really inform your decision to work with Easterseals?
Well, in the beginning, to be quite honest, I wasn't really familiar with what autism was. So for me and my family, it was very much a shock, and we had to get culturized on what autism was and how it would affect our lives, and of course, my brother's life. After a while, after seeing him constantly in therapy and just living with him, seeing how he would interact with us and others, I grew very curious to know how he worked, how he thought about things, and why he did the things he did every day. So that's why I decided,
Amazing.
yeah, and that's why I decided to pursue a career in psychology.
And in terms of Easterseals, for kind of the listeners who don't know about Easterseals or haven't come in contact with them, what is the mission of Easterseals, and also what's the mission of your specific the DeLuke program in particular?
So, for those who may not know, Easterseals is a nonprofit organization devoted to addressing equity and inclusion disparities for individuals with disabilities. And Easterseals is known for serving young adults with disabilities in its culinary arts high school program. So, they adapted services and approaches to meet the growing numbers of young adults with autism. And recently, there has been a new addition to the program. So, this new component focuses on preparing students and adults for life after Easterseals through the exposure of real world experiences. So, research shows that the employment rate of people with disabilities is actually 20% compared to 68.4% for people without disabilities. And that's pretty shocking.
Mm-hmm.
So, due to the shortage in programs to support these young adults, Easterseals has made it a part of their mission to provide students the life skills, training, and transition planning needed for them to be successful upon graduation.
That's really, really, really like awesome, and also the statistic. Every time I hear that statistic, I'm shocked because I personally know the merits of working with somebody who has a disability, and you get dedicated employees, people who have so many skills when you just look differently. And Maria, I really wanted to understand a little bit about your role in the DeLuke program. What does the day-to-day look like? What kind of programs are you running? Is it more an operational perspective in terms of growth? Kind of talk us through that.
Of course. So my role within the organization is job training program coordinator. So basically that means that I'm responsible for discovering the talents, skills, and interests of my students to find the best employment match for them in terms of life themes and work support. So my day-to-day consists of working one-on-one with a job seeker or a student, and I learn more about them, who they are, so I can find what it is that they're going to best at and the career that they want to pursue. I also create transition plans that highlight dominant vocational themes in their life. And of course, I reach out to employers to learn about their companies and the supports that they can offer. So throughout the day, I also work closely with 2 to 4 students, completing tasks that would resemble the work that they could be doing in the community. So some of these tasks include delivering supplies to teachers, making sure all of the classrooms have gloves, sanitizing bottles because of COVID, and also distributing diapers to the baby classes. And something else I want to mention is that I also meet often with a support team to talk about each individual's case. So we focus on what's working for the job seeker or the student, what may be needed to be added to their plan to meet their needs, and any possible employment opportunities that are available for that person. Another big part of my job involves communicating with the families, of course, and their caregivers, to ensure that everyone is on the same page about what is best for the student. So at the end of the day, if you can see, our mission requires everyone to be involved, and it really takes a village to get the job done.
And I love that phrase, it takes a village, because the way you described it is I'm just thinking in my head, I was like, how do you accomplish so much in a day or in a week? Because that's a fortune of responsibility. And did your college degree in psychology, to what extent did it almost prepare you for this job, or even did it give you a lot of skills that you use today?
Unfortunately, I can say that I did not go to, for example, the University of Michigan does not have a specific program that focuses on disability studies. So my focus was not so much on the disability. However, throughout my extracurricular activities, I did the most to familiarize myself by volunteering, working with my brother one on one, and getting more um, education on what it is that's going on behind, like, for example, ADA, and how it is that I can help my brother and other individuals with disabilities. So I definitely wish that I would have gone to a program that was more focused on that. But I think that just the background in psychology has facilitated my understanding of how the brain works, how why we do the things we do, and how I can further facilitate like the interaction so that I can find, for example, the best fit and facilitate the relationship between the employer and the employee.
That's awesome. And yeah, I think that's definitely going to be disability studies is definitely going to be a growing field throughout academia. And I know myself, when my university it wasn't something that was offered, and now kind of being immersed in the world, I really recognize that it is a growing field and a really important field. And through all the work that you're doing, is kind of at home and at work, what's kind of an achievement that you're most proud of, and be it personally or professionally?
Well, I would say the most proud I am of the achievement I'm most proud of would be having the opportunity to connect with the students in the few months that I've been working here at Easterseals and to maintain relationships with various employers. So, one of my biggest concerns starting this position was that employers would be reluctant to open their doors to job seekers because of their disability. And what I realized, however, is that oftentimes the talent of the job seeker speaks for themselves. And if the individual skills match the company, the employer will be more than likely to provide them an employment opportunity. So, due to the work that I've done thus far, I think I've been successful in finding four of our students real world experiences. And I've noticed that every time I step into the classroom, there are more and more students who are eager to work and they want to be involved in the workforce. So, it's definitely rewarding to see that. And although I'm moving slowly and this is a relatively new program, I think it has a lot of potential.
That's amazing, and also really ties into one of the last questions I wanted to ask you is you said you're learning more about the ADA and also matching the employees and employers. If you had a message to the business community, or specifically the employers who you're reaching out to with these qualified candidates who you've worked with, you've trained them on kind of the real world skills, what is the message to that business community that you would have?
Well, I would encourage them to think of themselves when they were in high school and when they're considering the first job. I would ask them how and why they got the first job, if they received any prior training, and I would also ask them if they would hire their younger selves now. I would remind them that their younger selves and the young adults with disabilities searching for jobs today are not much different. They only require a few accommodations. I would assure them that with the proper accommodations, our individuals have the potential to become as good or better than the employees that they have now.
I think that was a brilliant answer, and also just I like how you just tied it into the fact that everybody's just their younger selves, and there's no need to look differently, but rather just look at the skills and the abilities of the people. And really, lastly, Maria, I wanted to ask you: is somebody who wants to get involved with the DeLuke program, whether it be philanthropically or partnering up or working together on any sort of initiative, how can they get in touch with you? How can they get in touch with the program?
Well, we could get in touch via email, via phone. I'd be more than happy to speak to anyone interested in supporting us and just interested in finding out more about what we're doing, right? So I think it really, like I said, it takes a village. So even if you're just want to know more about it, or if you want to actually find an employee and see if maybe the mission of their company matches the skills of our students, that would be a first great step. And just, I would be interested in learning more about any company, every company, whether it's small. I would prefer to have a small business just because I feel like we could build better relationships. But anyone via email, I can share my email with you, and that would be a great start.
Awesome, Maria. Again, wanted to thank you so much for giving your time for being on the Spotlight Sessions. Your experience and the work that you're doing is already reaped its rewards, and I have no doubt that the program is going to be a success. And I look forward to our next collaboration.
And thank you so much, Elon.